everyone. Welcome back to this episode of the Play On podcast. In this bit, we're talking about Laois against Westmeath. Laois absolutely destroyed by Westmeath. Scoreline of Westmeath 3-20. Laois 1 goal and 10 points. Very, very worrying signs for Laois, losing to a team which many would consider to be on their level of ability. So something is definitely wrong in that camp, especially considering that Evan O'Carroll scored a brilliant goal after 6 minutes. Such an individual piece of brilliance, shook off Boyd Usaye and slipped it home into the back of the net. But from that point, Westmeath just took over. And in the second half in particular, Westmeath just really put Laois to the sword. And a very, very bad end to what has been a very, very bad year for Laois.
Yeah, completely. Like, following the relegation, I think a lot of people were kind of interested to see if Laois could turn this around at all. Like, it looked like that they weren't in a great place, but I don't think anyone really predicted that they were this poor this year. Like, I think it was the nature of the beating kind of at the weekend. I don't think anyone expected. I think everyone was kind of, Westmeath probably were the favourites going into the game, but like the level of the nature of this beating was really, really disappointing for them, especially considering that they held the lead by a point at half time. So just complete capitulation in the second half. Like, maybe the Jamie Gonud black card in the first half was a huge factor in them managing to lead at halftime. But very disappointing, especially that second half.
Yeah, definitely. And if you want one stat which just shows how bad Laois were in that second half, they only scored 2 points in the entire half, compared to Westmeath's 3 goals and 10 points. So, I mean, if you ever wanted a stat which showed just the gap in that second half between the quality between both teams, there's your stat. Jerry Egan and John Heston were fantastic for Westmeath. Lorcan Dolan looked very, very promising at corner forward. He got the third goal for Westmeath. A high ball was kicked in on him. He caught it himself. A fantastic finish past Niall Corbett. He looks a real find at corner forward. Westmeath have a very, very good forward line for a Division 2/Division 3 team. Dennis Caroon as well at wing forward looked pretty good. He got Westmeath's first goal early in the second half that definitely set the tone. And now Westmeath go in against Kildare, a Kildare side that have just beaten Offaly. And how do you see their chances going into this game?
Yeah, look, they won't be the favourites going into it, and the Kildare they'll be coming against Division 1 side and everything as well. But look, they'll take huge confidence from this, particularly like you already alluded to that forward line, particularly the inside line. Lorcan Dolan, John Heston and Jerry Egan played in there, and they racked up some huge tallies between them. Jerry Egan in particular kicking 5 really eye-catching points from play as well. So it's they obviously have to take serious belief from that, and I think that the nature kind of this victory as well will stand to them. But like as I've already alluded to, Kildare will be the favourites going into it.
Yeah, definitely. But I would give Westmeath a puncher's chance. Jack Cooney's a very shrewd manager. And he's definitely going to take note of the weaknesses that he saw in the Kildare side, during the Offaly game and during the league campaign. I think the game he's going to look at in particular is the Kildare versus Clare match, where Clare showed up some serious faults in Kildare's system. And if, Westmeath can kind of harness that with the footballers that they have, you mentioned the inside forward line that they have, very, very dangerous. And I think it will be a very interesting game, but I still back Kildare to win. But Westmeath definitely have the players to give them a bit of a scare.
Yeah, completely. I just think that Kildare's midfield probably is going to be a level above Westmeath's, and I just think that middle sector, I can see Kildare being able to dominate that, and then I do think that they will be favourites for a reason.
Yeah. As for Laois now, a terrible year for them, and a year that they really got shown up that they're not on a Division 2 level. And anybody that wants to argue that they are on a Division 2 level, the only teams that they've played this year have been at Division 2 level, and they've lost every single game that they played, and they've been battered in quite a few. So they're definitely not at that level. Micheál Quirk obviously is in charge there. He's got a good pedigree as a GA player, won plenty of All-Irelands with Kerry. Seems to be a very charismatic personality. He's got a huge job on his hands. the ship is going down really for Laois if they don't, do something to turn it around. And yeah, I don't really know how they do it. They did have some good, underage players coming through, the likes of Diarmuid Whelan. How do you see them now? What would you do to kind of turn the ship around if you were Laois? Because it's going down rather quickly for them.
Well, I just found it very strange, this one, because you look at the Laois team and there's a lot of experience there. And it's not like some counties where they're experienced and like their standout players have opted out. But like you look at the Laois team, Kieran Lillis playing, Colin Begley's been in there, John O'Loughlin as well. The two Kingstons all starting as well. Like, it's not, you can't say that it's because of the players like opting out or not being here. Like the players are all there, so it's just the performance level is just nowhere near where it should be. And look, we've seen the squad before achieve well more than what they are right now. So I think there has to be serious questions over why the performances have been so bad this year, because it's just been a complete disaster of a year, really. So yeah, kind of very hard to know where they can go from here, really, considering maybe, I don't know, perhaps it's time to move on to young fellas, but and just to kind of get a bit of youth and energy into the team. But like, the questions are if there's enough talent there to replace kind of these fellas that have kind of been the traditional starting 15, like.
Yeah, definitely. I think a massive blow for Laois was when they lost John Sergiu. He was in charge. He got them to a Leinster final and he won Division 4 with them in his first year in charge. He was definitely building something there at Laois, and then Kerry poached him to manage their under-20s. He's a Kerry man. He's obviously, has his eye on that senior job one day, which I think he will eventually get. I think Sergiu was a very shrewd operator. But he definitely was building something there at Laois, and I think losing him so quickly into the project was a massive blow. And I don't think they've really recovered from it since. Sergiu was bringing in all these new ideas. He was the one who kind of pioneered, Graham Brody's extravagant style of play where he'd, join in the play, which was, bizarre back then, but is very common now. Every team's goalkeeper is very comfortable coming out the field with the ball. But Brody was the first one to do it. And Sergiu was the man who kind of gave him permission to go out and do that and express himself. He was a very, very progressive thinker. And, for Quirk, he had big, big boots to fill. And to be brutally honest, I don't think he's done as good a job as Sergiu did. But, he managed to keep them up in Division 2 last year, which was an excellent achievement. But I feel like this day was always coming for them.
Yeah, it's kind of been they've kind of been treading water for a little while and not kind of not competing in Leinster as much as they should be, really. Like, you look at the players available in Laois, and they probably should be on a level where they should be aiming to be overtaking Kildare and Meath in kind of the rankings in Leinster. But they look a long way off that. And it's probably worrying times for them, but that's not to take anything away from what was absolutely an excellent Westmeath performance. And deservedly, their championship has continued for a while longer.
Yeah, definitely. And I look forward to that Leinster Semi Final between Westmeath and Kildare. I think it'll be a cracker of a game. So that is our review of the Laois versus Westmeath quarter final. Fantastic victory for Westmeath. Don't go away, because we're going to come back with Meath against Longford.